monster truck. Raw power wrapped in a cocoon of steel and American ingenuity. This is no daily driver. This is a monument in motion. A salute to the Iron Horse. Mechanic's nightmare come to life. Up next, 12,000-pound trucks take flight. The Renegade Monster Truck Tour starts now.
Nestled in the fertile farmlands of western Pennsylvania sits the Tri City Speedway, Franklin, Pennsylvania to be exact, as we get underway with week number 4 and the final stop of this 4-show Keystone Swing of the Renegade Monster Truck Tour. One of the big stories rolling into Franklin is the homecoming for Joe Lockhart, driver of Barely Tame from just down the road in Oil City, Pennsylvania. This guy plans to put on a show for his hometown folks along with his son, Logan Lockhart, in the Barely Tame Mini. This place is packed with fans ready to get a look at the Renegade Monster Trucks, and we are too. Here's a look at our field of trucks. As usual, we start with Lindsay Rettew in Pretty Wicked. Did not have a bad showing last week at Penn made it to the finals in racing. She was beaten by Cory Snyder. She'd love to make up for that here, and I'm sure she'll do well in freestyle. And there's the man himself, Joe Lockhart, from down the road in Oil City, Pennsylvania. He's looked good this year. Some mechanical problems hurt him last week, but he plans to make up for him here in front of the hometown folks at Tri City Speedway. Then, a guy we haven't seen since stop number 2, Cliff Fowl, back in the Virginia Giant, wants to make up for a bit of a rough showing. He blew a motor out at Selinsgrove. Cliff put a brand new bullet in this truck. He's ready to go in front of the crowd here in Franklin, Pennsylvania. Then, the second generation hotshot, Cory Snyder, 3 for 3 in racing on the Renegade Monster Truck Tour. He would love to sweep this whole Keystone Tour, take it stop number 4, and be 4 for 4. He's also got a freestyle win, actually 2 freestyle wins on the season, but a guy who would love to upset the clean sweep, Zane Rettew and Stinger Unleashed out of Dover, Delaware, the patriarch of the Rettew Motorsports Camp. He is ready to throw it down here in front of the crowd and wrap this Keystone Tour up with a bang. We've taken care of all the pre-show festivities with the track party and the kids fun zone with the Renegade Rec Pit. It is time to get things underway with the best trick competition, the hometown hero. Get to perform. He's raced here before on this very track. Joe Lockhart in Barely Tame, trying to set the bar here in the best trick competition. Joe said he was going to start out with a donut. Been trying to get that perfect donut all season long. Let's see if he can do it here. That's what he's been looking for. An awesome job for Joe Lockhart. I think he blasted our cameraman with some clay clods, but an awesome showing, going for a sky wheelie, real sideways, hard hit for him there, but it was a strong run here in the best trick competition. Joe Lockhart looking good in Barely Tame. Good way to start off this homecoming. Another look at that sky wheel, and you can see the truck kite up in the air and start to twist on him, come down hard on that left-hand side with that suspension soaking up every bit of it. A score of 7 out of a possible 10 points, so a great start to this competition by Joe Lockhart. Up next, Cliff Fowl out of Fairfax, Virginia. Couple of problems getting this truck started earlier in the day. They just put a new motor in it, and don't know what he's going to do here in the best trick competition. You see that first hit maybe a little bit tame. He's just trying to get a feel for this truck, make sure that motor stays underneath of him. Rear end bouncing a little bit on that donut, but a good showing for Cliff Fowl. I doubt it's going to take over the lead, but again, he's just trying to make sure the truck is ready to go for the rest of tonight's competition. Looking good. Score of 5. Not going to get the win here, but up next, the better half of the Rettew Motorsports camp out in Dover, Delaware in the 96 Ford Pretty Wicked. This is Lindsay Rettew. You hear the big cheer from the ladies in the crowd as she rolls out. They love this multicolored Ford. Truck making its home out on the peninsula as she stalks around the front stretch here of the Tri City Speedway. A little bit wet out there on the front stretch. They just watered the track, but definitely keeping that dust down. It looks like she's going to go for a sky wheelie right here. Big hit on the racing lanes, a little bit off to the left. Kind of a hard hit right there, but a good move for her now. She's got to come up with something to one-up Joe Lockhart. She didn't quite get the air he had right there. She will usually wrap things up with a donut. That's exactly what she's going to do. Cyclone time here at the Tri City Speedway. An awesome best trick run for Lindsay Rettew in Pretty Wicked. That was a good sky wheelie, but I think got a little moisture on those back tires that stacked, pitching her off to the left-hand side. Hurt her Ford momentum just a little bit, kind of brought the truck down early, and then this awesome cyclone to finish off that best trick run. Lindsay Rettew in the wings, towing, and recovery. Pretty Wicked, a score of 8 will take her to the #1 spot. I think it was those cyclones that did it for Lindsay Rettew. Pretty Wicked raising the bar up next. Undefeated in racing, but he's not gotten a win in this competition. That honor goes to Zane Rettew, who is undefeated in best trick. Cory Snyder out of Bethesda, Maryland, pulling out in Toxic, the big black and green Ford out of the Old Line State. Second generation driver ready to cut it loose here on the front stretch of the Tri City Speedway, as they've pretty well matted down this racing lane over here nearest the camera. Let's see what he can do. I have a feeling he's going to go pick on some of that fresh iron on the top side there. And I think bald tires on wet dirt kind of hurt him. Another sky wheeler right there, and he goes off to the left-hand side. Kind of an odd camber to this track. It's banked at the top, and then it doesn't come down to a flat surface. There's actually a little embankment on the bottom side, and I think that kind of odd shape they're getting into is pitching these trucks left and right. Not to mention, again, the wet dirt leading into the crush cars. What does Cory Snyder have left for this crowd at Tri City? Putting Toxic in the spin cycle, got out of the throttle, the truck just kept moving. Tell you what, I think the lack of tread helped him in this case. Solid run for Cory Snyder. We'll see if it takes over. It wasn't bad. Threw an extra move in there. Get another look at this cyclone, and you can see got it to take the set perfectly. And again, I think those bald tires actually helped him, but you gotta wonder, if this course is this slippery, is it gonna hurt him in racing? Looked good here. And then again, what was so interesting to me is that he got out of the throttle and let the truck settle down, and it kept spinning with the tires stopped. Score of 9 will take him to the top spot. Cory Snyder in Toxic out of Bethesda, Maryland, going to #1, and we're going to wrap up the best trick competition with none other than Zane Rettew going for the stoppie in Stinger Unleashed. Effortless right there as he bounced his way down. Usually likes to carry it back into a moonwalk. Didn't quite work for him there, but definitely playing on house money at this point. He just has to come up with a good second move, and I think he's got this one in the bag. It looks like he's going to try to throw down a cyclone. Riding the ragged edge in the ATI Performance Products Stinger Unleashed. Doing what he's got to do. He's 3 for 3 in best trick competition so far on the Renegade Monster Truck Tour, and he's coming back around, it looks like, for one more hit off the popper ramp. Another stoppie. Let it simmer up there for a while, and Zane Rettew and Stinger unleashed. The ATI Performance Products Stinger unleashed. Letting the crowd see the awesome power and driving skill aboard that machine, and you hear the roar from this packed grandstand. I have a feeling, is no doubt, that he just took the top spot, and indeed he did. Look at that, perfect score, a 10. There was only 1 point to grab when Cory laid down a 9, and it's Lindsay Rettew and Pretty Wicked. Joe Lockhart, a good showing, take nothing away from him. Had a couple of little problems, but he finally got that truck into that donut he has been looking for on this tour. Cliff Vowell not quite giving us the show I think he's going to give us later, but Virginia Giant with that new motor in it, definitely ready to throw down here with the Renegade Monster Trucks. Andy Ullum looks on. He'll be one of the guys manning the RAI tonight, one of the most important safety features in monster trucks as we move on into our tough truck competition. These trucks have been thrilling the Renegade Monster Truck Tour crowds each and every week out on this tour, and this one is a nice packed lineup. 10 of these trucks here in competition. Jason Gerlach out of Cooperstown, Pennsylvania. I like that PVC roll bar he's got on the back there, holding that flag up. A little tribute to the first responders. Working his way around kind of a wet track, and keep in mind the monster trucks have not gotten down to the far end of this track, so there's still a lot of standing water down there. But he's finding some dust. It's not the fastest run right now. Looking at this lineup of tough trucks, I'd say we're going to start seeing the times tick down real quick. Karma Coffee sponsored Jeep Grand Cherokee, the red, white, and blue, crosses the finish line. We'll wait on the time as he'll set the stage for the rest of our competitors, but I guarantee you he's going to be making a much faster run in the next round, a 47.38 second run. Gerlach, as we get ready for our next competitor to come to the line. There you see Daniel Clark. Been staging all our vehicles here tonight. Up next, Michael Cunningham out of East Liverpool, Ohio. Buckeye Bandit ready to take to the track here. Another Jeep Grand Cherokee. This one, little rattle can artwork on the side of this one as he gets ready to take the green light. A little bit late off the starting line, and that might hurt him. Big leap right there, and you can see there's actually some mud puddles on this track. There's a little trench that kind of runs down on the lower side. He got into that just a little bit as he slides around out on that grass. That's dry grass, by the way. That's just as slick as anything else out here. You're getting that dust on top of those blades, man. That thing will slide right out from under. He's not making a bad run. We'll see if he can take the top spot as he heads back down the last leg of the track here. 2 more jumps to cross the finish line. Cunningham running the last bit hard, slowing down a little bit as he got out of shape. A 43.27 will indeed take the top spot. Not a bad run at all for Cunningham as we get ready for our next competitor to come to the line. Michael Cunningham II out of Carrollton, Ohio. Jeep Cherokee. Not a Grand Cherokee this time. Another one, a little rattle can paint on the side. The hood's coming open on number 3 here. That won't hurt him unless it pops up in his face, but he's making a pretty good run so far. Around the bus out there in that mud, you can see it from here, the shiny spots on the track. Those will start to go away, though, the more trucks that get down there, so it's going to be to your advantage to run later in the class as he makes a very wide turn back there in the grass. Round the van jump. Back over that little roller, and he'll come down center. Let's see. 46.16 is the time for Michael Cunningham. Not quite what he was looking for. So he left something on the track now. It looks like a paycheck. We'll see. Watch this guy come out of the hole. This is Matt Boyer out of Palmyra. Now you're getting into some fast iron right here. Trying to line himself up for that roller. Nice and tight around that van stack. That is how you take that turn right there. He's right up against the base of those ramps. Little problem right there. He got in that mud, started to get him out of shape. 35.65 from Matt Boyer out of Palmyra. Awesome run for Boyer. Definitely raising the bar for what it's going to take to get into the Fast Four here. Now, Jen Hostetter, you recognize that last name, Leon Hostetter. He's been in the Fast Four every week here for the first 3 weeks of this tour. Well, this is his better half now out of Palmyra, Pennsylvania. In this little green Jeep Cherokee Sport, she is going to get around here real quick. I guarantee you that.
Getting some big air out of the gate there.
This little Jeep, well, a problem back there. I take it back. That's going to hurt her big time. Again, it's very, very wet back there. And she started to spin that thing all the way around. See what her top end charge is like if she can make it up here on the big end. 36.48, not too bad. All things considered, they went wrong with that run, but that is going to hurt her. Backside, and speak of the devil, here comes Leon Hostetter. This guy has been in the Fast Four every week. He won stop number 2 out in Selinsgrove. Maybe a little bit outmatched last week in that class of modifieds, but definitely was very, very impressive. He's always quick. Leon Hostetter out of Palmyra. Always with a lot of top-end charge. And keep in mind, this was one of the guys in Selinsgrove that was crossing our finish line at about 55, 57 miles an hour. Little problem back there, but he used it to his advantage. Ripping up the sod as he works his way around the infield jump. Let it settle. That was a good move right there as he comes blasting across these final 2 jumps. Leon Hostetter, 34.30. He will take the top spot. Leon Hostetter looking good out of Palmyra. Up next, another guy always quick and fast. Here's Josh Funk out of Lancaster. Former Team Green Jeep right there. You see, he got into the wall up in Selinsgrove, a big chunk of the right front fender missing. Big leap right there, and you're seeing less and less splash as these guys come down that straightaway. Trying to find the dry spot, though, in that corner is going to be tough. It's going to take a bit to kind of wipe that off, but should be enough time in between rounds to dry that out, and then you're going to start seeing some blistering fast times. We'll get an idea of the average for now at the end of this session as Josh Funk stumbled a little bit right there, but he's looking good. Waiting on the time. 36.15, not bad, but I think he wanted a lot more out of that run than that. As I said, he stumbled just a bit when he got back in that mud as our next competitor rolls to the line. David Pilichowski out of York, Pennsylvania, one of the only Bronco 2s in competition. This thing always likes to do wheelies in between the jumps, and that may be to his disadvantage, but he is one tough driver there. Case in point, you see the front end come up on him right there, but this truck is a blast to watch. He's got an awesome roll cage in it, so you know he's not afraid to drive it. David, one of the toughest in the country. Again, he stumbled in the same place that Jen Hostetter did. Not a bad turn out there, and I think they're starting to create their own berm where they're ripping that grass up. They're actually kind of helping themselves as he dropped down off the infield there and actually hurt his time. Now trying to get a good drive across the finish line, a little bit sideways right there as he comes across at a 40.02 second run, so that is not going to be good enough, I don't think, to get him into a fast 4 position for our final round shootout. Up next, a guy we know can get in that fast 4, Gary Green out of Fawn Grove, Pennsylvania. Gary, from the track that's home to the Disorder at the Border Championship, one we'd like to see come back. If you're at all a fan of tough truck racing, gotta go back on YouTube and check out some of those races, but this guy has been ripping it up here on the Renegade Monster Truck Tour. Very aggressive into that corner. He went wide, but that actually might be to his advantage. A little bit of slip there, but he got a great drive coming out. Perfect around that van stack. That was a perfect turn. Coming back for home, number 9, Gary Green flying to the finish. Waiting on the time. 33.87, Gary Green. Knocking him down. One more to go, and it's Gary's teammate, also out of Fawn Grove. This is Cory Pappas, your winner from stop number 1 in Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Cory, looking for win number 2 right here. He got into the wall back in Selinsgrove, kind of hurt his time, but laying down a shot right now. Let's see what he's got. That might hurt him. He may be incurring a penalty because he missed that jump. He did miss that jump, so I'm not sure if number 10, Cory Pappas, is going to get a penalty on the run. He will cross the finish line in a good rate of speed, 35.88, so he did indeed incur a 2-second penalty. As we take a look at our fast 4, Gary Green taking the number 1 spot. Then it's Leon Hostetter, your winner from stop number 2. Matt Boyer, 35.65, not a bad run for him. And check it out, Cory Pappas, even with the penalty, ending up in that number 4 spot. So we'll re-rack him and bring him back for round number 2 of the Renegade Tough Truck Racing Championship. Hey, we still have monster truck racing, the minis, and more from our tough trucks to come from here at the Tri City Speedway. Do not go anywhere. The Renegade Monster Truck Tour is brought to you by Wayne's Towing and Recovery. Anytime, day or night, we're here to help when you need it. And by 717 Wraps and Graphics, dedicated to providing you with a one-of-a-kind experience. 717 Wraps, Lancaster's premier vinyl wrap and graphic service.
Remember being a little kid, playing in the sandbox with your toy truck? Dreaming of the day you could pilot a real 1,500 horsepower monster truck? Well, now you can. DriveRealMonsterTrucks.com, located just outside of Dover, Delaware, offers a state-of-the-art training facility on a huge outside track, which allows you, the fan, to get strapped into one of the very monster trucks you are watching perform today. DriveRealMonsterTrucks.com puts you in a once-in-a-lifetime experience with a professional monster truck driver who will coach you through your day of practicing competitive race passes, wheelies, jumping, throttle rhythm, and end your day competing in your very own 90 seconds no-rules freestyle, all while on-site safety officials and Renegade technicians stand by to ensure your day is safe and the truck stays operating at the highest level possible. No strings attached. This is truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience for you to pilot a full state-of-the-art monster truck. All experiences are recorded on video, both from the ground and also on board, so you can continue to remember your driving debut for years to come. Schedule your day of insane fun now at DriveRealMonsterTrucks.com and on Facebook at Drive Real Monster Trucks.
The Renegade Monster Truck Tour is brought to you by ATI Performance Products, driving technology to the finish line. Back at the Tri City Speedway in Franklin, Pennsylvania, getting ready for round number 1 of side-by-side monster truck racing on the straight line here on the front stretch of the Tri City Speedway. Going to take a look at our Wayne's Towing and Recovery Minis, the homestay boy, Logan Lockhart, the barely tame mini hometown show for him. Doing a nice job. He put on a good one for the crowd here in his hometown. Then Rettew getting real wild in the Pretty Wicked Mini, launching a little bit sideways. Looked awesome, though. Did not want to wrap things up earlier in the best trick competition as he got the fans pumped up in that Pretty Wicked Mini. Then the Wayne's Towing and Recovery Stinger Unleashed Mini. CJ Rettew, always a wild one, wrapped up with his signature sky wheelie off the side of the popper ramp. CJ Rettew looking awesome as he rolls on here in Franklin, Pennsylvania, and we get ready for the big Stinger Unleashed, the ATI Performance Products Stinger Unleashed, driven by Zane Rettew out of Dover, Delaware. He lines up side by side with the hometown boy Joe Lockhart in the Wayne's Towing and Recovery 717 wraps, barely tame 96 Ford. Joe from right down the road in Oil City, Pennsylvania, in the low lane. He would love to put Zane Rettew and Stinger on the trailer early.
You know, we've been racing the last 4 weeks here with the Renegade series, and Cory with this toxic truck. I've legitimately got out on that kid every race. We've made it to the finals, and he drives around me on the big end, and it is eating at me. So I want to win racing tonight really bad. He's actually undefeated on the season, and to do it here at home would put the icing on the cake for me.
It's going to be a tall order as he's got to get past Zane Rettew first here in round number 1. They wait on green. Both of them with a tough start. Lockhart trying to chase down Zane Rettew, and a hard landing on the right-hand side as he does some body damage. 7:07 elapsed time for Zane Rettew. Joe ran right with him. Not a bad run, all things considered, but not the run he was looking for. And you can see both of them launching to the right off the starting line, having to correct Joe. Almost completely missing that first ramp. Zane having to correct. And he actually gave up a little ground to barely tame as he lays into the throttle, headed toward the finish line jump, and then watch Joe Lockhart pitch right hard. Dismounting the hood right there. Actually not too much damage on that body on second look. And man, they're going to have to get that truck back together to come out from the Concy race as your undefeated racing winner right now on the season. Cory Snyder lines up Toxic to take on Cliff Fowl in the Virginia Giant. Can Cliff get revenge for Selinsgrove? Little trouble off the start for Cory. He had the same problem Joe did, but gets out on Cliff on the big end as he slides to a stop right there. Just gets it woed in front of the bus. Cory Snyder in Toxic looks to another championship race with Zane Rettew. The first time they'll be back on the track together since stop number 1. And you can see it was not a good run for him at all. He had to make up a lot of ground in no man's land as he got sideways off the starting line, almost DQ'd. Cliff in the throttle hard, started to wash a little bit right there, and Cory, straight shot to the finish, is able to take the victory and move on to a championship race with Zane Rettew. Wild couple of matchups right there as they take the hood off of Barely Tame. Going to take a look at that truck and try to get it ready for the consolation round as the storm clouds are kind of hovering back over there by the foothills, and hopefully they don't move in any closer as it's been threatening rain all day. We've had beautiful weather otherwise, but it's been a little bit scary looking at the sky back there, although it's given us quite a dramatic backdrop for this event here in Franklin, Pennsylvania. Back to Tough Trucks though. Jason Gerlach out of Cooperstown, Pennsylvania, trying to get into the Fast Four. Did not have a good run in round number 1. He's going to try to make it up here with this big red, white, and blue Jeep Grand Cherokee with the tribute flag to the first responders waving off the back of that PVC roll bar he's got hanging off that thing. Looks good. A lot better run right here. He's making up some time, but I don't think he's quite got the speed he's going to need to take the top spot. Working his way back down. He's definitely on the loud pedal as smoke starts to come out the back of that thing. A good run for him. but a 40.95 will not get him in the Fast Four. Definitely, though, doing those first responders proud, the tough truck class here tonight as we get ready for our next competitor, and that'll be Michael Cunningham out of East Liverpool, Ohio, lining up with the rattle can painted Jeep Grand Cherokee, one of two Cunninghams in the field.
Here we go.
Getting after, got the rear tire down in that little trench mid-track, and see how he negotiates that back section. It did dry out back there. It's quite evident as he works his way around. A little trouble, though, getting up on the infield grass. There's a lip right there, and man, if you side slam that thing, you could cut a tire real easy. Let's see if he can make up some time on the way back. Over the roller, pretty good run going here. Cunningham real aggressive down the last leg. Good looking run for him right there. 39.83, though still not going to make the Fast Four field. But an impressive run nonetheless. He left a little rubberized plastic out there on the track. I think that's a piece of the wheel well that fell off right there as Michael Cunningham, the second, rolls out of Carrollton, Ohio. Jeep Cherokee, another one with a rattle can paint scheme on the side. Let's see what he's got for the field. A little bit slow there through no man's land. He's going to have to pick up the pace. Much smoother run than he had the first time around, and he's looking good through that turn. Maybe a little wide, a little bobble right there. Now, around the van stack, too wide. I can guarantee you right now he's not going to make the top time. He's looking a lot better than he did in round number one, though. Getting a piece of that roller, and he'll head back down over the final two jumps. Michael Cunningham, the second out of Carrollton, Ohio. I don't think he's too worried about that top time. He's just trying to put on a show for the crowd. It'll be a 41.27, not what he was looking for at all, but no shame in that run right there. He was real aggressive. Now as Matt Boyer out of Palmyra rolls out trying to keep his spot in the Fast Four. Right now, I believe he's sitting in the number 3 spot. And that thing launches off the line nice. Sliding up to the wall for a nice right angle turn right there. Caught a piece of it. Working his way around the van stack. Not as tight as last time, but he's got some momentum, although that's going to hurt him right there. A little bobble on the end. He's going to have to make it up on the top end. Over on the nose, a little sideways. That's going to hurt him too, so we'll have to wait and see. Matt Boyer, real aggressive shot, but 33.88, he's second fast, so he made up a lot in the straightaways, and I think it was negotiating the bus that got him in that spot. Now another Palmyra, Pennsylvania tough truck racer, Jen Hostetter, the better half of the Chaotic Racing team. This is a lady that I saw a few years back literally slide her tough truck on its nose for about 40 feet on the front bumper, going for a victory. That tells you how aggressive she's willing to be to get a win. A little problem right there, but she's looking good otherwise. Tight to the van stack, but she slows down a little bit. Very aggressive, coming back, a wild landing right there, and that is going to hurt her big time. Putting on a show, but it's not going to be good for her elapsed time. Watch this jump again as the thing tucks the left front, taking her for a ride to 37.11. A little sideways in there as Leon Hostetter, head of the Chaotic Racing family, also out of Palmyra, takes off. Your winner from Sealands Grove, as I said before, he has been in our Final Four, our Fast Four, every week since this tour started, and he does not plan on being knocked out here. That was an interesting way to take that jump as he works his way around the van stack, and I was wrong about Matt Boyer, man. He blistered this course. Let's see if Leon can step it up a notch. big leap right there and across the finish line, flying. We will see. New fast time of 33:50. So I think he may have found a new way to drive this course. We'll see if he can hang on to that top spot going into the Fast Four as Josh Funk rolls out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. This guy right here could definitely put a hurting on the rest of the field as he takes off. Former Team Green Machine right there. Little problem right there. I'm not sure what happened, but slowed down a bit, working his way around, trying the same tactic that Hostetter just did as they rip up more sod over there. A beautiful run around that van stack. Heading for home, number 7, Josh Funk with a big nosedive right there and another big jump crossing that finish line. He's dirt tracking his way. Get that thing back under control. Look at that launch headed toward the finish line jump all over the place, and he stayed in it. 33:49 by 1/100th of a second. He takes the top spot. Josh Funk moving into the Fast Four as David Pilichowski out of York, Pennsylvania, trying to get this wild running Bronco 2 into the field. Wild landing right there. That thing pitched left hard. Looking a lot better in this run, and as I said, the track soaked up a lot of the moisture down there on that far end, so the times are getting faster and faster. He may have something. No, he doesn't. That's going to hurt him big time. I think he was in the hunt until that bobble right there as the rear end started to wash out on him. Still came across the finish line with a pretty commanding run, but a 38.70 won't get him in the field, unfortunately. When he started the fishtail, that was the end of it as Gary Green out of Fawn Grove, Pennsylvania. Doesn't need to. He's already in the Fast Four, but he's going to try to secure him a better spot in that Fast Four, maybe run a little later in the field. The better you qualify into that Final Four, the later you can run in the class. So we'll see what Gary Green has. For Josh Funk right now, a 33:49 is the fast time. Boy, Green barely caught that ramp. What a corner around that bus. Looped it perfectly, coming back down for home. Number 9, Gary Green charging the finish at high speed. What was the time for the white Jeep out of Fawn Grove?
Blazing fast, his new time is
31:61. The Bordertown Charger taking the top spot by a mile, and his teammate has to come up right after him. Cory Pappas, another one who's kind of already in there. Can he secure himself a better seat? Good line right there as you seemed a bit conservative at first, but really getting a good drive around the bus and then looping around the van stack, that little figure 8 down there at the far end. He executed it beautifully. Number 10, Cory Pappas. Could he have possibly gone faster than Gary Green just? Yes, he did, a 31:25. Cory Pappas. I didn't think we would see numbers below the 33-second range, and 2 of them back-to-back figured it out. Cory Pappas in the number 1 spot. He'll run last. He was your winner. Week number 1 out in Greensburg. He'd love to put another win on the board, but he's got to try to knock down Leon Hostetter, who won week number 2 and has been in the finals every week so far, even in our mod class. Of course, Gary Green and Josh Funk are not going to be any fodder for this tough truck class. All 4 of these guys are capable of victory, as they showed. We did not think we would see times below 33, maybe 32 seconds, but to jump from the 33-second range down into the 31s is quite impressive as we get ready to run our Consi round. Joe Lockhart barely tame. Pulling out a little trouble back there, getting that truck fired is Cliff Fowle, who started this weekend on kind of a downer. They had trouble with the RII. Jay Snyder and Zane Rettew and all the crews jumping in to get that truck running for today's show. And Cliff's looked pretty good so far. I know he'd have liked to have done better. And definitely would be something to knock down the hometown boy right now. Joe Lockhart was not having the run he'd hoped for. He started very strong in the best trick competition, but that missing doghouse tells the tale as Cliff Fowle stages up. Joe Lockhart now coming to stage back in that low lane. Maybe Lockhart can get a little better charge here in our third place race. Lockhart with a little jump off the line, a bit sideways to start again, but some rear steering problems for Lockhart there, and Cliff Fowle gonna get a victory. Hold on, as they almost get together on the end of the track, and it was a 1/100th of a second margin, but it was a DQ for Lockhart, who almost got into Cliff Fowle. Heads up driving now. Every week I talk to Joe, and I tell him, you have not hit anything yet. So just remember, if you're feeling down on yourself, Joe, keep that under your hat. You still haven't hit anything, although you and Cliff came very, very close to rubbing tires on that run right there as Zane Rettew gets ready for this championship race with your undefeated racing winner in 3 weeks of this Keystone Tour, Cory Snyder in Toxic. Zane Rettew getting ready to stage up. Well, actually, they just killed the truck. I take that back. Zane shut it off. We have problems in the pits right now. Cory Snyder going for a clean sweep, cannot get the truck fired. Zane Rettew sits on the line waiting for Snyder. Can they get the truck to the line? Wouldn't this be something to kill the win streak? Crowd looking on as we... Well, you hear the cheer from the grandstands as Cory Snyder does indeed get it fired. The lights come on and he'll head toward the starting line, so we are going to have at least an attempt to take a 4-show clean sweep on this Keystone swing. Zane Rettew, though, would love to mess that up for Cory Snyder. Snyder staging in the right-hand lane. Can he take 4 for 4 on this Renegade Tour?
Here tonight, I'm here with the driver that's currently, I hope I don't jinx it, undefeated in racing is Cory Snyder, who's a toxic monster truck. Cory, it's been your season, man, for the season that we do have. It's been your season, man. How you feeling? Are you ready for tonight?
Oh yeah, I'm feeling great again. We're just trying to keep a little tie going, 3 in a row in racing. I'm trying to keep up with Zane with the 2-wheel skills, and I guess it's me and him when it comes to freestyle, so it's really just been a battle of us. But everybody's up here stepping up their competition, and we're going to see if we can make it a 4-all today.
Cory, at first, just happy to be out and running, and once he got 2 shows in, and I think it was that first round race in Sealands Grove with Cliff that really kicked everybody to start pouring it on and racing as we get ready for this final round. Can Cory Snyder make it 4 for 4? It's the championship race, the final pairing of the Keystone Swing, ready to roll. What a top-end charge for Snyder, but did he take the victory? Very, very close race again. And he did indeed do it. Cory Snyder in Toxic with a clean sweep of the Pennsylvania swing. 4 shows in a row, and look at that margin of victory. Fastest times of the night. Those are the 2 straightest runs we have gotten on this racetrack. It's been very, very slick for all drivers involved. Watch the starting line. Zane Rettew actually got a little bit of a jump. Both trucks still sliding around, coming off the line. Zane Rettew, though, had him in no man's land. Look at Snyder pouring on the horsepower with a come-from-behind victory. Toxic, 4 for 4 in Pennsylvania.
From behind win, he was behind.
That has got to feel good for the O-Line State driver, the second generation in the black and green destruction machine, the big Ford out of Maryland.
Zane Rettew said, I have him by a mile. No, you don't. He's still
Rib there from Matt Isbell.
He got the helmet off. We're going to bring him up here.
Tell you what, it's only a few runs, but you can tell his adrenaline was running. He kind of looks exhausted after 6 seconds down a racetrack and almost not making the starting line. There he is, your champion, Cory Snyder.
Hi, superstar. I just have one thing to say to you. Undefeated. Congratulations.
Thank you guys, man. What a great way to end this Pennsylvania little tour that we had going. I was not lifting, man. I knew Zane was on my tail. I was not going to lift for him. I wasn't going to lift for Cliff. I wasn't going to lift for anybody. But man, I had such a fun time. I can't wait for what we have more in store, boy. You guys are in for a treat coming up. Just stay tuned.
Get over your racing champion. That's Cory Snyder. He talks there.
Very, very well-deserved victory, and he fought for the couple inches that he got on Zane Rettew at the finish. He gets ready to take the truck back, and we're going to take a look now at our mini freestyle. It's going to start with the hometown kid, Logan Lockhart, and Barely Tame, trying to send it out here in Franklin. Some of the best air we've seen this truck get so far on this tour. He did not disappoint rolling out for his freestyle run, and Logan definitely laying down a run he can be proud of. You saw the hang time he got over that little tabletop there they built for those mini trucks. They told the big truck drivers to stay off of that thing, do not mess it up for these minis. As we go back to live action, Garrett Rettew now in the Pretty Wicked Mini, trying to follow up the run that Logan laid down a little bit earlier. Garrett, he's had himself a few good moves here on the tour. He had a great sky wheelie back in Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Got some awesome air last week in Penn up in Susquehanna over back east of the state. Now trying to put on a show for these fans here in western Pennsylvania. These guys have been impressive in these little Patriot chassis minis. I think they may actually be a little bit too hard driving for these things. Garrett works his way back down the track in the Wayne's Towing and Recovery Pretty Wicked Mini. Big thanks to Wayne's Towing and Recovery sponsoring these vehicles, keeping them out here and running strong on this track as Garrett Rettew charging this thing hard. He's got a couple moves left in him as it rolls up on the infield here, maybe wrapping it up. Now they're pointing to that popper ramp. He's been wanting to try this. He's finally going to get his shot here in Franklin. He said CJ rolled it last week. He's tired of CJ getting all the fame and glory in these minis. Garrett wanting his own piece of those sky wheelies. Let's see what he's got here in the Wayne's Towing and Recovery Pretty Wicked Mini. Garrett Rettew. Big hit right there. Kind of kited it over to the right-hand side. Almost got himself in trouble, but what a run for Garrett Rettew. One he can definitely be proud of as he wraps it up here in Franklin, Pennsylvania. He's in big trouble right there. Garrett Rettew, he hit hard right there as the crew runs over. He's moving around in the cab.
Videos of that.
This move, that was supposed to be his last move on that popper ramp. This was just an extra, and he pitched it hard left. Good roll cage in that thing as he hits right on that right front tire and breaks the front steering.
Really doing it in the air.
Zane, glad to see his kid is all right. Look at Garrett Rettew popping out. The crowd giving him a cheer. Look at this guy. He is pumped up, man. Look at the smile on Zane's face. Garrett Rettew. I tell you what, they got a lot of work in front of them to get that mini running right again, but that is one proud popper right there. This kid's a racer, too. Look how intense he is. He's ready to get back in and go some more. He's happy get bad. I don't think it hurt him too much. As CJ Rettew gets ready to come out. We're not done yet. The Wayne's Towing and Recovery Stinger Unleashed Mini carrying the banner for Wayne's Towing and Recovery right now. And he was upside down last week, so it was Garrett's turn. But I'll tell you what, CJ is not going to let Garrett have all that limelight. I can guarantee you that right now. So see if we can get another sky wheelie or another save. I've seen this guy put it all the way over on the sidewall and bring it back. So CJ, he's got something in store for these fans here in Franklin. Let's see what he can do right now. Big air and big problem for CJ Rettew. Looks to be all right. He's still trying to drive it. You're not going anywhere, my friend. You busted the front tie rod. What a hit. I told you. He watched Garrett flip that thing, and he was not going to let him have all the cheers from this crowd. CJ Rettew. Look at Zane. He loves it. CJ is pumped up. They're going to have to crane these trucks on the trailer tonight. But CJ Rettew laying it down. What more could you ask for from these minis? All three of them putting on a show here tonight. Watch it again. I know that's not what he wanted to do. He just wanted to get some hang time. But he hit hard on the front of that frame. And bounced around the cab a little bit, but wearing all that safety gear, CJ Rettew is A-OK.
That was awesome. Did you have a good time?
Dude, it was a blast. I saw Garrett go out there. I rode over last week. He's like, I want to go out and roll it over. Well, he went big, and I lined up for it, and I just put the pedal to the metal, and it just went.
I'm just going to leave it at that. Good job, buddy. CJ Rettew and Stinger leading the Wayne's Towing Recovery.
CJ Rettew. I don't know, man. I don't want to say he just stole the limelight from Garrett, but those two brothers.
Well, I got some work to do.
What do you think? Think it's time to go home yet?
Him as he walked away, he said he has a lot of work to do, and he definitely does. In fact,
What am I missing?
a little more damage than we thought on that thing. The motor is barely hanging in there. He broke a lot of stuff, but put on a show. Speaking of broken, what you didn't see a little bit earlier was Toxic also had to go off on the hook. They cannot get that truck fired after that racing win. So, can Cory Snyder and Jay Snyder get this truck running and get back out for freestyle? No scores in freestyle tonight. It's all about the crowd. So,
You have no rear steer either?
we'll be back, and we'll find out if we still have a 5-truck field for freestyle. Stay with us.
Other way, other way. There you go. Straight back.
You understand?
Looking for quality graphics? Look no further than Bradley Shaw Designs, specializing in graphic designs for banners, vinyl wraps, posters, promotional items, and more. Bradley Shaw Designs is the exclusive digital graphics partner of the Renegade Monster Truck Tour and Rettew Motorsports. For more info, check out BradleyShawDesigns.com.
Welcome back to Tri City Speedway in Franklin, Pennsylvania. All wrapped up with the monsters and the minis. It is time for our Fast Four in Tough Truck competition. Leon Hostetter lining up, as I said throughout this episode. He has been in our Fast Four every week now for the last 4 weeks on this Renegade Tour. He won race number 2 out in Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania, and actually did very well last week against a field of 800 horsepower modified. So that should tell you how capable a driver and how capable a vehicle this is as he enters the first full turn. Good run through it right there. Caught just enough for the ramp not to DQ, and he is ripping up all kinds of grass out there. Not worried about it. Remember, we throw out all the times from the first and second round. They have to do it from scratch, and he is pushing this thing on the big end. What was the time? He's setting the bar for everyone else. 29:59. The fastest time of the night. We went from 33 to 31 to 29. We're not hitting the numbers between. These guys are just getting faster and faster. One, the track is drying out. And it's actually ended up being a good thing. It's just tacky enough to get a good bite coming for home and just slick enough to allow him to dirt track around as Josh Funk rolls out of Lancaster. He's going to try to knock Hostetter off right now. This is for the big money. Here at the Renegade Monster Truck Tour, the Tough Truck Champions on the line right now. Number 7, Josh Funk, looking good. He rounds the bus. They have dug themselves out a nice little run around that van stack. Now coming for home, tripped him up right there. That may have hurt him. Big leap coming for home, crossing the finish line very, very quickly. I think we're starting to hit those speeds up in the 50-mile-an-hour range again. We'll get another look at that top-end charge. Watch this jump. This is the penultimate jump on the track, and he laid into it. Another big nosedive for him here tonight. At the 30-33, not going to get the top spot, but he was spectacular as always. Josh Funk out of Lancaster, laying into that big gray Jeep.
It's 2001 Jeep Cherokee.
As Gary Green,
Let's see what happens.
he was one of the first into the 50-mile-an-hour range 2 weeks ago, and you know he's going to charge hard here. Let's see if he can take the top spot. $29.59 is the time to beat. Pushing that final corner hard. He's looking good. Maybe a little bit too much air that could have hurt him, but number 9 is headed for home with a big leap. Again, $29.59 is the time to beat.
The time for Gary Green is a 2.9.63.
29.63. He's not going to do it, but he was right there. What, 0.04 of a second off the top spot for Gary Green. He'll go into second for the moment. As Cory Pappas. Remember, we got into that 31-second range with Gary Green. In round number 2, Cory Pappas, though, immediately came back and bettered his time by a long shot. The back door is coming off again. Shedding a little weight. That might help him. Helped him out in Selinsgrove. Keep in mind, he was our winner from week number 1. He is laying on the throttle right now, trying to straighten it out. Blasted through, headed for home. Cory Pappas. Waiting on the time. He's got to be to 29.59. Did he do it? Yes, he did. A 29.14.
The time is in for Cory Pappas.
Every time somebody figured this track out, he came in right behind him and figured it out a little bit better. Cory Pappas, 2-time winner here on the Keystone Swing. That has got to be a proud moment for him. Then Leon Hostetter, Gary Green, and Josh Funk, they were all right there within that range of each other. A great, great battle in our Tough Truck Championship with the Renegade Monster Truck Tour here this weekend. Absolutely love watching these trucks come down track in front of these crowds. They get these Keystone crowds pumped up as we get ready for Monster Truck Freestyle. Again, a big thanks to Wayne's Towing and Recovery and 717 Wraps for helping out with this tour, keeping these trucks up and rolling. Cliff Fowl out of Fairfax, Virginia, now rolling out in the Virginia Giant. As I mentioned a couple times throughout this show, Cliff, a brand new motor inside this big Ford-bodied monster truck. Legend in monster truck competition, a Thunder Nationals champion, a multi-time Thunder National champion. Cliff trying to breathe new life into this machine. He's been notorious for being a great racer. He's done some great wheelies, but Cliff would like it to be an all-around great truck and turn it up a notch in freestyle, and he's doing it here with some big hang time. Virginia Giant Cliff Val getting after it. Love the low thump of that big 572 cubic inch Hemi in the back of this big bad Ford monster out of the Old Dominion. Cliff Val stopping his way back down the front stretch. What else does Cliff have in store for this crowd here in Franklin, Pennsylvania, and this beautifully painted, hand-painted truck, by the way. No wrap on that thing. And another big hit off that van stack, hard on the right front, but Cliff looking awesome in the Virginia Giant. Again, no score tonight, but they don't care. They're out here for these fans, and I think it's actually taking the pressure off a little bit. Just cutting it loose. Look at that thing hop when he spins that donut right there. Cliff Val and Virginia Giant. A good run for him. I think he's going to wrap it up right now. And Cliff, a little problem with the rear steering. No, he may be going for one more hit here. Virginia Giant, Cliff Val looking good. He's in big trouble, though. Unbelievable. Cliff Val and Virginia Giant. I was just complimenting that hand-painted body, and he just came so close to destroying it. Mark Albert running down to check on him as he took a hard hit on the left-hand side. He's moving around in there. He put his hands up. I think he's all right, but we are going to take another look at that for sure. Going to get a look at a couple of things in this run. There's some great highlights here. Big hang time throughout. Man. Unexpected finale to that one. Cliff Val out of Fairfax, Virginia. Put the foot to it, did not disappoint. I think he's wishing this were a scored run right now because he would have put up a big number with that one. What a way to start freestyle. You can see he was off to the left-hand side, and he may have been all right, but the trunk gave away on that first car, and there was nothing to keep him from going hard left, landed on the sidewall, and he doesn't run a locker in the front end, so I do believe had that tire not popped, that thing may have rotated right around on that left front and gone on its roof. But Cliff Val says he didn't mean to do that. No kidding. Little body damage there on the front, the left front of the hood there, but left corner of the doghouse, and the bumper's all wadded up, so they're going to have to put some new lights in that thing and maybe a little Bondo, put it back together, paint some flame on it, but its first scars that body's seen in a long time. Cliff Val in the Virginia Giant getting things started off in a wild, wild fashion. Get a look at that one from down track here and watch this truck fly. Man. Even from there, that thing just should have gone over, and I really think that that tire popping actually saved that thing from going on its roof. What a run. Lady from out on the peninsula, Lindsay Rettew. Pretty Wicked out of Dover, Delaware, the 96 Ford. She had a pretty decent showing last week. Was a little disappointed with how her freestyle ended. She popped a tire and was unable to continue. She would love to make up for that. But again, no scores in the run. I think it's taking the pressure off of these guys, and maybe it'll translate to these freestyles. We've seen some great freestyles on this tour so far, but with what Cliff just did, I think we're going to see maybe the best runs that we've seen on the Renegade Monster Truck Tour. She goes right for that van stack, and that truck looks like it's landing very, very well right now. Maybe finally got that suspension where she wants it, where she's comfortable with it. Her driving in the last year or so has just come so far, leaps and bounds, and she is just more and more fearless by the shot. Look at that thing. Big hang time for Lindsay Rettew. last here on the front stretch of the Tri City Speedway in Franklin, Pennsylvania. Another big hit right there as it twists on her. Just cannot say enough about how much confidence she's gained behind the wheel. Her spatial awareness, just from the first time we saw her run a truck till now, just leaps and bounds. It's a totally different driver. And I'll tell you, I don't think she liked being in the truck when she first got in, but she seems to really enjoy herself now. And definitely holding her own and having all the support from the crowd. The ladies love it, but these guys love it. She heads over to the bus. Big hit up on 2 and back down Lindsay Rettew. Getting after it and Pretty Wicked. The Wayne's Towing and Recovery, Pretty Wicked, out of Dover, Delaware, laying it down for the crowd here at the Tri City Speedway. One more move, I think, and she'll wrap it up. Drifting a donut down the top of turn 4 onto the infield, and she'll head off into the pits. But we got a couple of highlights to look back at here. Lindsay Rettew, probably the best run she has laid down all season long. Solid freestyle from a little lady out of Dover, Delaware. 10 foot tall and bulletproof at the wheel of Pretty Wicked with that really hard landing on the front end, and it pitches off to the right-hand side, lets it simmer, puts it right back down on all 4. That is a run she can be proud of as the hometown hero heads out onto the front stretch. Joe Lockhart. This truck and this driver have been through hell tonight, but Joe is not afraid of this thing one bit. I know he's been disappointed in his performances over the last couple of weeks, but he has nothing to be ashamed of. I just know he wants to turn it up a notch here for the hometown crowd. Cuts him a little donut, kicking up a big cloud of dust to get things started off. That's the area of the track they didn't want her at all because the trucks weren't really going over there. Of course, that's the first place Joe goes, but he does appear to be still having problems with that rear steering, and I guarantee you that's eating away at him right now, but he's still going to go for it. Won't straighten up, kind of a cockeyed jump over the van stack. Definitely showing that he's a monster truck driver because he'll work his way through a freestyle with a broken truck. That rear steering just does not want to cooperate. Joe Lockhart has got to be steaming inside of that helmet right now. Look at him watching this thing. I think he really went to school back in Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania, and just taught him a lot about how to drive these trucks through a less than ideal situation. And last week, again, working his way through a broken truck. He does not disappoint. I got to say that again because Joe always seems a little bit down on himself when he gets done with these freestyle runs, but always has the crowd on their feet by the end of them, and that's something he's got to be proud of as he heads for the bus stack. Putting it into low orbit, and he just blew the right front tire. They shut him down right there, and wow. Call it short and sweet, man. Again, Joe did not disappoint. Getting the job done. He's got his head down. I know he's got to be just a little disappointed in himself right now, and he has nothing to be disappointed about. That was an awesome run for Barely Tame. Look at that hang time. Joe Lockhart fighting through what could have been a catastrophic failure to this homecoming, but it was not. With the rear steering running back and forth on him, he still flew. That big 96 Ford chassis machine with a Richard Midget motor in the back, and finally got himself a little piece of property there because when they shut him down and the tire went flat, it kind of rolled over into the wall, but that wasn't Joe's fault. Listen to this crowd. Joe Lockhart laying it down here in front of his hometown crowd at the Tri City Speedway in Franklin, Pennsylvania, in the Wayne's Towing and Recovery 717 wraps. Barely Tame Ford as Zane Rettew and the ATI Performance Products Stinger Unleashed rolls out in front of the crowd. here in the Keystone State. He wants to put on a big run to wrap things up for this crowd. The Pennsylvania Tour has been awesome to all of us who have been a part of the Renegade Monster Truck Tour, and Zane starting off over the backside of the bus stack. I think he's going to do what he normally does. He's just going to give us a little warm-up, and then as this thing progresses, you're going to start seeing glowing brake rotors and a man possessed. It really looks like they've tightened these trucks up a lot for this freestyle. I think they went through and kind of tuned the suspension up because they seem to be kicking back in perfect form to maybe get some slap wheelies. So we'll see. What does Zane Rettew have for the crowd here in Franklin, Pennsylvania that they haven't already seen? Headed for that popper ramp, as is his signature. Gets the stop, it twists up on him a little bit on dry dirt over there. Zane Rettew and Stinger Unleashed. Getting Cory Snyder a little bump over there, and I think we are about to see another tandem from these two champions of the Renegade Monster Truck Tour. Zane undefeated in best trick competition, Cory undefeated in racing. No scores in freestyle tonight, so these guys are free to cut loose and give this crowd exactly what they want without having to worry about a clock, without having to worry about scores. Just hit whatever you want. Go for it. Look at Zane over there on the backside getting a big launch off of that van stack. See his bright green lane light flying through the Pennsylvania night sky as Cory Snyder with the green and yellow glow from underneath roars down the front stretch of Tri City Speedway. First hit, he mixes over the bus. It's going to be too much to follow right here as Rettew makes his way over the bus. We're just going to sit back and watch this one. Looks like Zane's lost power over there on the top. Well, he's got it rolling again. I'm not sure what happened there. They shut him down or what? As Cory Snyder continues his run in Toxic, and Zane does not like losing power in the middle of a freestyle run, so we may be about to see an angry Zane Rettew as Cory grabbing a twist and slap wheelie right there. Zane throwing it into another cyclone. I take that back. He's lost power again. That's not what he wanted to do. So Cory is going to be wrapping this one up all by himself. I know that's not the way Zane Rettew wanted to finish, but he didn't disappoint. He got some big air over that bus stack. Zane Rettew and Stinger Unleashed giving this crowd an awesome show here in freestyle as Cory heading for the bus with a massive launch. LEDs glowing in the dust. It's Cory Snyder working his way around to wrap up an awesome night here at Tri City Speedway in Franklin, Pennsylvania as the fireworks go off. What an awesome night of competition that we've had from our tough trucks, our minis, and of course our Renegade monster trucks. This Keystone Swing has been awesome, and we want to thank everyone who made this tour possible, all our venues, especially right here at the Tri City Speedway in Franklin, Pennsylvania. Of course, Wayne's Towing and Recovery, 717 Wraps, and Claypeck Excavation for making all of this possible. What an incredible night of action with the Renegade Monster Truck Tour. We will see you next